What is the best, most energy efficient way to get your laundry dry in the winter months? This week I've been testing out a dehumidifier with a dedicated laundry setting and comparing it to a tumble dryer and a heated airer to find out which one is the best for a family home. And stick around till the end of the video when I'll give you some tips about how to get the best out of your dehumidifier and also reveal one of the surprising benefits of using a dehumidifier that's nothing to do with laundry. This dehumidifier is the Durex Bora 20 litre. It was provided by the manufacturer so that I could make this video, but as always, you'll still get my honest opinion of it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but if you want to skip ahead to get the testing results, the timestamp for that is appearing on the screen right now. Durex are a Dutch company, and in fact the brand name is a combination of the words Dutch and luxury. They aren't a new business, they've actually been making electronics for about 20 years. This dehumidifier is one of two smart models that they make. This one is 20 litres and they also make a 30 litre one. That 20 litre figure is not the capacity of the water tank, it's the amount of water that the appliance can extract out of the air in a 24-hour period. The water tank itself is 4 litres and I found that that was more than adequate capacity for the water that it extracted from 1 or 2 loads of laundry. And it does come with a hose, which means that you could create a permanent drain if you wanted to. This model is a smart appliance. Once you've connected it to the app, you can see a live reading of the humidity in the room that you're using it in, so you can monitor the progress as the dehumidifier is running. Humidity inside a home in winter should be between 30 and 50%. When I started using the dehumidifier, the humidity in our house was 59%, but quite quickly dropped back into the right zone once the dehumidifier had been running for a couple of hours. You can also use the app to schedule the dehumidifier to turn on and to set a timer or use any of the functions on the control panel. And it also works with Alexa and Google Home. On the control panel itself, the button on the far left is for night mode, which doesn't make the appliance any quieter when it's running, but what it does do is turn the lights and any unnecessary beeping off. This button also doubles up as a child lock too if you press and hold it. Next is a button that allows you to toggle between the 2 fan speeds, then a button for the timer, which allows you to choose between 1 and 24 hours to run the appliance for. If you press and hold this button while the dehumidifier is running, it will enable that dedicated laundry mode, which is a 4-hour program for drying clothes. On the other side of the display is a button which allows you to choose the target humidity for the auto function. If you press and hold it for 3 seconds, it will start a self-cleaning cycle which lasts for an hour. Next to that is the button for the continuous mode, and if you press and hold it, the appliance enters the Wi-Fi pairing mode, and the button on the far right is the standby button. If you're worried about noise levels, if you're going to be running this dehumidifier overnight, the good news is it's actually Quiet Mark certified, which means it's been through testings and certified as being amongst the quietest appliances in its class. I measured 39 dB on the lowest fan speed and 49 dB on its highest. And it's also got a removable carbon filter, which you can wash under running water or buy replacements of on the Durex website. Testing results are coming up in a moment, but first, if you're new here, my name is Clara and I make weekly videos which help you choose and use your home appliances. If you want to see more of those, please hit the subscribe button. So for my testing, I washed a machine load of towels 4 times and then I used 4 different methods to dry them, measuring the time that it took to dry and the energy it used. I do want to point out, before I give you the results, that this is not a laboratory standard test, nor is it supposed to be. My tests are very much about real homes and real life. So the first test was a tumble dryer, which took 3.5 hours to dry the towels and used 2.644 kilowatt hours of electricity, which right now in the UK would cost you 72 pence. Next was my dry soon heated airer, which I ran for 8 hours, at which point it had used 44 pence of electricity. Now, at the 8-hour point, it wasn't dry. So I decided to do what I would normally do, which is that I left it turned on overnight. And by the morning, at the 16-hour point, it had used 3.225 kilowatt hours, or 88 pence of electricity. Then I tried it with the dehumidifier on its own. The manual says you have to use it in a room which is larger than 4 meters square and no bigger than 40 meters square. The room I used it in was 10 meters square, and it took 7.5 hours to dry and used 1.523 kilowatt hours, or 42 pence of electricity, which is very similar to the amount that the heated air used. And finally, I tried a dehumidifier and the heated air at the same time, which took 5 hours, and the two combined used 2.081 kilowatt hours, or 57 pence of electricity. So the dehumidifier is not the cheapest or the quickest method of getting laundry dry, but because it has that dedicated 4-hour laundry cycle and the timer and the ability to set your desired humidity, that all means together that you should be able to get more efficient use of energy, which is then going to save you money. Also, the thing that surprised me is that there were other benefits beyond just getting laundry dry. We closed the door on the room when the laundry was drying, but then we had the door open when it wasn't. And the net effects of that was that the dried air was then dispersing around the house and reducing the overall home humidity. I didn't think that we had a humidity problem because we don't have any of the classic signs like condensation on the windows, but when the overall humidity of the house started dropping from being above the recommended level to being in the correct zone, I then started sleeping better. Now, this could be a complete coincidence, and I will have to do more research into this. If I have any further updates, I'll add them to the description. If you're thinking of buying a dehumidifier, here are 3 things that you need to know to get the most out of it. First of all dehumidifiers need to be placed in a position where air can circulate freely around them. So whilst it's very tempting to tuck them down the side of a sofa because they're not particularly attractive, it won't get you the best results out of them. Secondly, close doors and windows in the room where the laundry is drying so that you won't be drying any more air than you need to be. And thirdly, make sure that the room that you're drying in is warm enough. It's tempting if you're going off to the office to not put the heating on and just leave them in a cold room, but this model has a compressor in it and it won't work efficiently if the room is colder than 15 degrees. If you want to check out this Durex dehumidifier and see the price that it's currently selling for, you can scan the QR code on the screen or find the link in the description below.